Yay! Well, good morning, Erika.
Good morning.
It is so nice to talk to you about music in Catholic weddings. So how long have you been a wedding musician?
Oh, goodness. I think the first wedding I played, I was 13 or 14. It was just right after I started playing the piano, so I've been doing this for quite some time.
Wow! So that would be only 10 years, right?
Oh, right. Yeah.
Okay, what is the most common mistake you see couples making with their church music?
Oh, well, one of the mistakes that I see, pretty often is a bride goes in, they have no idea what they want to do or how they want to do it, and they just walk in and say, help? And it really makes it difficult for, the music director or somebody you're working with to have nothing to go on at all. And one of the other things is to really know that in a Catholic wedding that it's a Mass first. And so, for example, if you want a lot of popular music or Here Comes the Bride, a lot of it might not actually be able to happen during the actual wedding Mass.
Okay. So that's the most important thing that couples don't know about a Catholic wedding is that it's a Mass first and a wedding second.
Exactly.
So
exactly.
Can you do the music you want at a different time during the Mass?
You really can. The prelude time before the Mass is really a great time to put those family favorites in there. And also remember that the Mass doesn't have to be the only place for music. You can also have music during your reception, and that's also a really good place to put anything we couldn't fit in during the Mass.
Awesome. What questions couples be asking that they don't ask?
Well, one thing that would be really nice they would ask is for permission for their family, for example, to be involved in the music during the wedding, as opposed to just assuming that it's going to be okay. Some churches have a very strict guidelines about that it's only their musicians who are allowed to play, and other churches are a lot more lenient about it. So that's definitely something to check on first. And aside from that, double check on the instruments that the church has. If you want organ music, make sure they have an organ first, and vice versa. If you don't want organ, make sure they have a piano. So you really want to make sure they're going to be able to work with you.
Perfect. What's the best tip or best piece of advice that you can have for a couple planning a wedding?
Let's see. I guess what it would be is for the bride and the groom, of course, to have an idea of what you want before you go into the initial meeting with the music director. Have a list of music, decide if you like contemporary music, decide if you like traditional music, and decide if you want it mostly instrumental. Having just basic guidelines of what you're looking for is going to make planning the music so much easier for everybody involved.
Great. And what was the most memorable wedding you ever worked on, and why?
Well, the most memorable wedding I ever worked on was actually not inside of a church. It was outside, and it was a cosplay Star Wars themed wedding where the celebrant was Obi-Wan Kenobi, and then there were stormtroopers and all sorts of other characters in costume. But it wasn't really just memorable for that. It was also because the couple really knew what they wanted. The Star Wars theme was all over the place during this ceremony. But, having somebody who knows what they want and has a sense of humor about things and is willing to kind of work to make it happen was, really great.
Excellent. What was the most touching wedding you ever did?
Well, the most touching one was actually just a couple of months ago, and it was an older couple. And, you could just tell they were so much in love. The entire wedding ceremony, they just, sat there and they just looked into each other's eyes and held hands. And you could tell that they weren't really, thinking about, oh, did my, flower arrangements turn out right? Is this all perfect? They were just thinking about, how in love they were and about their lives together. And it's something that you can really sense even from, up in the choir loft. So that was definitely, very beautiful and very touching.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much, Erika.
Thank you.
And you are the Director of Music at St. Mary's Church.
Right.